we're recording our 21st episode, and I almost forgot to count down the clap there.
Yeah.
Like, we've done this 21 times, and I almost sat there going, I was almost just going to clap. I was almost going to be like, okay, let's start recording.
And I would understand that it's 3, 2, 1 clap. And I'm looking as eagerly as a kid, and Grace is going, oh, soon, 3, 2, 1. That is one of my favorite parts of the whole week.
Someday we're going to clap.
Hello, Alanna.
Hello, Theo.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You seem
Welcome to
very
Mostly
relaxed.
Finished Thoughts. Oh, I'm not relaxed at all. No.
No, you're wrong.
We've talked about this many times. I have chronic chest pain issues.
Oh.
And today I was just like, I had a lot of like big things to take care of this morning that I am like actively working on. And I'm sitting in my chair, and all of a sudden my chest just gets like really tight to the point where I had to like sit up and like deep breaths and be like,
Jesus.
am I having a heart attack? I'm not, just to clarify.
We're recording anyways.
And then, yeah,
This is in
I'll
the
take care of it
ambulance.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look very relaxed.
But I went out into, like, I was talking to Ghost, and I was like, yeah, my chest doesn't feel good. And then I went out into the living room to do something. And as I was doing something, I'm like, oh, I think it's just anxiety.
The old.
Like, I'm just feeling a shit ton of anxiety in my body right at this moment. So
There we go.
that explains everything. Sorry.
Anxietyville. But you look, though, appearance might be deceiving then, because you look very relaxed and happy.
I'm very happy. I think that might be that there is a common misconception that if you are anxious or depressed, that you cannot also be happy.
That is true.
I think even people who are suffering with like depression still have moments of happiness. You know, I'm very stressed at the moment, but I am
also relaxed.
happy and
stressed,
also relaxed.
Course,
yeah, there's just a lot happening at the moment. So
you had a fantastic stream on Friday.
thank you.
It
I
was
did.
magnificent.
Yeah, it and now because it was so nice, I'm like scared to stream on Tuesday.
I reverted
It's
to
the-
Swedish because I got so upset with you.
It's the like
I know.
the highs and lows, right? Like it
Yeah.
was such a high. For context, today is Monday. You guys,
Yes.
recording on a Monday. We're doing the thing.
The OG.
That's a good sign. It is Monday, December the 6th today, and on Friday, December the 3rd, I released Loved You First, and we had a celebration stream, and it was fucking magic. I can't.
Yep.
I really can't even take credit for it. Something about like the audio just felt right, the vibe felt right, and like I looked nice. That's the one thing I can take credit for, is like I feel like I made myself look nice, but
so
everything else just kind of fell into place.
So the audio is not something your design or like the vibe. You're not the curator or fixing on the audio. It's just it happens then. I just turned on the
turned it on,
computer
it was
and
fine.
now there's some things in my room.
But like, do you never have that where you like obviously I curate the vibe and I curate the audio. Obviously those are
As soon as
things that I
hear you say
do.
it. Yeah.
But
Yes,
I do find that there's sometimes that I turn it on and I haven't changed anything and everything is wrong out of nowhere. And then there's sometimes like on Friday where I turn it on and everything is right. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what, I didn't change anything.
You have the same presets. You haven't touched anything on the mixer, and you start and you play one chord and go, am I unable to play guitar nowadays? Will it sound like, is this what it sounds like? And then other days you'd go, oh, what is this bicycle? It's a G, but it sounds magical.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that happened on Friday.
It just sounds good for no reason. Yeah, me too. And
'Cause
there
it's
was
the perfect
so
time
many
for-
people there, which was wild. I always expect there to be like no one there for all original streams, because it's like I've learned now that one of my biggest offerings as a performer is my original music.
Yes.
I know that now, but I think for a long time when I started on Twitch, the assumption was that everyone wanted to hear covers
Yes.
more than they wanted to hear my original songs. And so I still have a bit of that in the back of my head when I'm like doing all original streams, and I'm like, well, this isn't why people are here.
No.
But it is, and it was.
Yeah, there are the 100, and boy howdy do you have original music, and also super duper good original music. It's not like, oh, I made this song when I was 12. It's me slamming on the guitar. It's like profound lyrics, and you had stories. I was just going to go in there and say hello. Mm-hmm. I think you're awesome, and then I stayed thinking that you were awesome for hours. And it was such a, and hearing you talk about the songs, fantastic.
Yeah. I like doing it a lot. I really enjoy it. I like getting to share those stories and get to talk about it. And it was funny because one of my friends, like one of my oldest friends, she was there for a while during the stream, and she texted me afterwards, and she's like, I need to know who you were referring to in this song. She's like, I think I know. And I'm like, she did know, but it was just, it was funny having her like guess like who it was that I was talking about. This person who's known me for like 20 years. And so it was, I don't know, it's fun.
Wow.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was fantastic. I think I drew for close like 15 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Like a good 8 hours on Saturday and a good 8 hours on
That's
Sunday.
Amazing.
And then also post stream on Friday.
Yeah.
So of course.
Theo has sent me some of his art, and it's great. Yeah. I really like it.
Yeah, it's just me trying to draw like everyday objects. My first thing was drawing the push. Easy because it has a lot of things, and it's sharp edges and clear what it is. So I did that on freehand.
Ooh.
With grids, but so it's fun. And now last night I sat up until 2:30 in the morning drawing a city.
That's very
doing like sewer grates and then sliding them, duplicating and sliding them to make like a living thing. I never paid this much attention to anything, I think. And also, from like 10 to 2 in the morning, it was completely quiet in my house. Fell into bed, and I didn't listen to music. I just sat here, going one line to the next. Like a madman. It was fantastic.
I was just cleaning up some stuff off of the desktop of our laptop.
Yeah.
Which we don't use for very much these days. It's pretty old, but we watch Netflix on it.
Oh my God.
And I occasionally edit videos on it, but I had a folder of 3D models that I had done because like a couple years ago I was learning how to use Blender and doing like these like low poly animals and stuff, and like looking at them again, I'm like, yo, that's actually pretty good. Like, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And so it makes me want to go back to it. I just like, I don't really have the time right now.
Do it.
But
don't do it as a career move. Do it for you.
I just want to do it for fun. And I would really like to get back to it, especially looking at it today.
So what you're saying is that you don't have time for fun?
I don't have time to relearn how to use the software.
Okay.
And then create something. Because like I was having fun on it before. And I think that's kind of my problem lately is that like for you, you've got the vector drawing. And so you can just turn it on and open it up and you know what you're doing. And that for me is a lot of like the games that I go back to over and over again are the games that are like, I don't have to think about this. I can just open it. I can play it. Done. There's no like pre-work.
I've been getting out of games lately because of like the having to know how to play the game. Like if I were to play Witcher, going, oh God.
Oh yeah.
And I have to learn all the different magics, and oh God, I just want to play a game.
Yep.
That's why Hades is like fantastic because it's 20 minutes or up to an hour done. And then
Hades is great for that, and I think it's one of the reasons why I end up playing so much League of Legends is because I know how to play that game. And like I have been playing recently Ghost of Tsushima, which I am loving. You're a samurai. It's kind of Assassin's Creed-y. It's kind of Far Cry.
Is it multiplayer?
It is predominantly single player. I think there is like a multiplayer mode. But I
think I saw
love
it,
it.
yeah.
But I knew I was going to like it. And here's the worst part.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to like it for so long. But because I knew that I was going to have to learn how to play it,
Yeah.
I just put it off for ages because it was like, oh, it's like so much more mental effort to like sit down and be like, I have to figure out all of the controls and all this. Now that I have it, it's great. I play it all the time because I can just sit down and get back into it. But like, it's so dumb. Brains are so smart and so dumb.
When you can't even like watch YouTube because you go, oh, I have to. This video is 10 minutes. Do I have 10 minutes to focus on this? That did not used to be a problem for me. I'll tell you. Or like, yep, I'll watch all this whole series in one day. It's fine. But now it's like 1 hour? Are you kidding me?
See, like shows, and it depends on the circumstance for me. I find sometimes I'm the exact opposite where I'm like, this YouTube video is only 3 minutes. If I watch this YouTube video, I'm going to have to find another YouTube video because it's, for me, it's
You're
like
Cinderella,
background.
yeah, or Goldilocks.
It's true,
Yeah.
but it's background noise for me. So it's like I'm working
But I'm
on
the same
something
way,
else, and YouTube just happens to be also going. I'm not sitting and like watching a video. And so when a video is really short, when a video is really short, I'm like, oh well, this isn't going to last me long enough to finish the task that I'm doing.
But your League of Legends is my Dota thing as well. Just I can just play a game of Dota. But does it relax you though?
Not really.
No, because at the end of Dota, I think Dota would be like a good if you have low blood pressure. You can just play Dota, and you'll be fuming.
I feel the same way, and it sucks because like I do have fun and I do like it, but you're right. Like I don't finish playing and feel better
Accomplished,
or relaxed.
that was
unless I've like played a really good game where
what's it called, satiated?
You know,
where you go, that was everything I needed in a bite.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about like dopamine responses, which is something I've been like reading about a lot.
Yeah,
and it's like,
can you train that, or rather retrain?
Like yes and no. So like, just for like transparency's sake, we talked, I think, a little bit about the fact that I was looking to get an actual like psychiatric evaluation.
Yep.
I and my therapist and my doctor have a strong sense that I have ADHD. And so that's why they've both like requested that I actually like go and get tested. And a big part about ADHD is dopamine. It's that your like dopamine responses like don't work. Your dopamine triggers in your brain aren't working properly. And so what some people will do who have it is they'll make like menus of activities that are like easy to set up, or like maybe they take a couple more steps, but then there's also like ordered in terms of like how much dopamine does it actually give you consistently versus how much dopamine do you think it's going to give you. And so it's like, it's almost like looking at like junk foods, right? That's like League of Legends for me is absolutely junk food. I might feel good for like a second, but then I'm going to feel immediately terrible after, you know, like I'll enjoy it a bit and then, but it doesn't actually like create like a long lasting, like good feeling in my brain. Whereas something like doing a craft or drawing or art are things that like create a much better long lasting
something tangible
effect.
But it takes its toll to get into it as well. Like the setup to do that is
and so I think like
because it scratches the exact same itch for me now. I was talking to Fel about that the other day. Like drawing is a lot like playing Dota, although I have something to show afterwards. I have a quantifiable skill that I can use. I've learned how to make bricks now, or like a house facade.
And you were able to.
I can now use it.
You were able to learn that and break the barriers down at a time when your brain was open to learning and wanting to learn. You know, so now you have that skill. So you've kind of like opened that up for you. Whereas like I would love to get back into Blender and do more of that 3D modeling because I remember how much fun it was. I really, really, really was enjoying it. But I, at this point, have to have the ability to get back into it and relearn how to do everything that I had learned. And have
a moment of not blaring sirens in your head, I guess. Your internal going, do something productive. I am, brain.
Yeah, exactly.
better. Yeah. I used to live by the motto, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time.
I think that's a great motto.
I need to get back more into that.
Honestly.
Yeah. And now I think I've tried to become more adult this year. Which is, i.e., more boring. And go, no, Theo, you should not play video games. Those are for kids. Do something. And going, I don't know what to do. And then that stresses me out. And then,
Yeah.
But now drawing.
Yeah.
And also, like, just the mindfulness of drawing, especially since I'm working with isometric drawings. So it's a lot of, like, connecting lines and doing boxes and shapes. It's very satisfying. Just watching something come alive. And I was... This is supposed to work. I try to figure out how to do like barrels or cylinders or logs. It's so gosh darn difficult for me. I don't have that spatial awareness of going isometric. One circle, a circle further ahead, and not combining those two. Thankfully, I'm married to an illustrator and a graphic designer. So Phil was standing here very politely behind me going, yes, and then you connect, yes. The most protruding point, yes. There, yes, there we go. And now you take yeah. So I'm very blessed to have her. And Phil's been drawing a lot. She got an iPad last summer. She bought one. And she's been drawing like crazy. And I've been like, wow, how can she produce so much material? And then I've been sitting here like an addict going, more paintings, more drawings. So Phil's been on the couch drawing on her iPad, and I've been sitting here.
That's really lovely.
It's been fantastic.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, It's been when you can just hang out in the same room and just, we're doing the same thing, sort of, but
yeah,
and then asking for advice.
Yeah, I have a lot of like, and I think when I think about those like barriers to entry, kind of, all of my music stuff feels like that, where it's like, I know how to do it, but the sitting down and setting up and it's it becomes insurmountable, even though it's not. Like if I say it out loud, it sounds like easy,
silly
and silly, but
like going to the gym.
Yeah, except easier than that.
When you have, but when you have barriers to go to the gym, if you plan to work out and your brain goes, nope, stay at home and eat crisps or lie on the couch, just say that out loud to yourself. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, I don't have my shoes. Or, okay.
Yeah.
You don't have that t-shirt to wear? Okay, it'll be fine. But your brain will go, no. Not that t-shirt. No, we're staying home. We're spending Jerry's time. Yeah. You're going, no. Say it out loud. Say it to yourself in the mirror going, this is silly. I'm an adult-ish.
It's also fighting, like, just like circling back to like the dopamine response, that people who have issues with dopamine regulation in their brains have a hard time doing tasks that don't give any sort of dopamine response. So like if you're going to the gym, it's not just like being at the gym. Being at the gym is a great dopamine response. It's huge energy. You feel really good, but it's like, I have to get up. I have to decide what I'm going to wear. I have to get changed. I have to fill my water bottle. ADHD? I have to get in the car. Maybe I think it's something worth looking into.
Because that is also like my everyday life. Everything is just that. Then I have to decide that time. No. And so just, I can do this. Going, no, I have to plan. Yeah.
It's definitely difficult, and like there's obviously times where it's very easy, but it's these things that like seem like seemingly really easy tasks. Like when I talk about music and like the barriers for me in doing music, I have two desks. I have my desk with the big piano, and I have my desk where my monitors are, and it's easier for me to do music over there. But often just the getting up and going over there, like moving all of my stuff over to the other desk where it's not as comfortable to sit, and it's like there's setup that has to happen, will be enough in my brain that's like, no, that's too much. No. Yeah. Once I'm there, it's fine. And then I love making music and I love doing that thing. But like when I'm really burnt out, which is like where I've been for a while, doing anything that's not rewarding, like the number of steps, it makes it very difficult for me to push my brain into doing that. It's often called running into the wall.
Oh. I can't even begin to imagine, or I don't know if I am. Brain is also weird at times with that. I've been trying to also since I was then now with the drawing, it opened up new pathways for me creatively. Or because yesterday I was drawing, and I thought I am a musician though. I should probably make some music as well. So I picked up my guitar and I went, I should probably write a song. And then I wrote a song, like the basis of like I made 2 like frameworks for songs, chord and melody. Out of just, well, I need to do this now. And that, I don't know how that happened. I couldn't do that before. Yeah. It's sort of okay, well, time to go to the mind. Because now with the drawing, it's so weird because most of the things are just doodles. And then, this could be a blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then it starts. I wish I had the same, that I could do the same with music. For me, music has to be very like a fully fleshed idea. I don't sit around with the guitar going, is this a string? And just notes. I wish I was more like that.
See, that's me. I'm the opposite. I am all noodles all the time. Yeah. I have to sit down. I can't, if I go with a concept to like 9 times out of 10, if I take a concept and I go to write something, or I take lyrics and I go to write something, it just turns out like crap. Even for like the Songtober stuff treads a fine line because having a prompt works really well for me. So like if I have a prompt and it gives me a place to start, then that's okay. But I can't look at that prompt and then write lyrics and then go write the song. Like I have to go and just like sit and noodle and kind of like mess around and see like, does this sound good? Does this sound good? And then it's a very organic process for me as opposed to like, yeah, I can't. I know that it doesn't work for me if I have like a full thing.
All the songs I've written lately are just come out at once. Like I was brushing my teeth, as we talked about, and then my bathroom is a creative space apparently because brushing teeth, thought, well, I guess this could be it, and as in that I might die. As a panic thing going, this might be the last night I have. And then, okay, I'll write a song about that. And then I sat down with just that phrase and then unraveled a song. So I'm trying to do both things because you can't wait for those things to happen.
No, you can't.
Or you can wait, but it will be far and few between. Few and far between, that's one. And if you can just reliably just sit down with an instrument, I guess. But it takes practice.
It does take practice. It takes time.
It doesn't give you dopamine.
And it's also hard because there's times when I pick up a guitar and I think I'm going to write a song. I'm like, I would like to write something. I want to try and write something.
Yes.
And then you just write absolute trash for like an hour. And you're like, I don't know how I ever wrote a song ever. Almost every time I go to write a song, that is the thought that goes through my head is like, I have no idea how I ever wrote a song to begin with.
Yeah.
How did I do that? I don't know.
I would like old me to come back and explain exactly how this happened. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that would be good if you could talk to yourself, like previous Alannas and Theos. I have so many things on my phone where I've recorded snippets of songs, and something this is good. Why didn't I? And Elfving, how did you play this? I have no idea what that is. And it's wow, that sounds wonderful. What is it? I have no idea since I just either voice memoed or...
Yeah, same. I'm dealing with that with the Songtober stuff right now. Like, I could not sing to you any of the songs that I wrote for Songtober. Yeah. None. I know the lo-fi stuff because I've listened to it a bunch, but all of the stuff I wrote for Songtober, it does not exist in my brain anymore. It was created and then it got stored and I don't know where it is, and I'm going to have to go back. And once I listen to them again, it'll come back and it'll be okay. Yeah. And I want to work on them. I know there was a bunch in there that I wanted to do, and so it's like I need to figure it out. But like if you could put a gun to my head and give me a guitar and I would not be able to play any of the Songtober songs for you.
It also feels like such a hassle if I have a half-finished song to go back and have to finish it. It's such a feeling of, and then I have to relearn the guitar playing, and then I have to can can I just play Dota? Or
See? That's yeah. Those
Yeah.
extra steps that don't reward you. Brains have a
Yeah.
difficult time getting to them.
I'll just have to draw for the rest of my life. Oh no. I don't know if I talked about this last time, but like I know for certain that I do not want to pursue a career in illustration. Mm-hmm. But wow, it would be fun to be getting paid to do that. Says the man who spends his time sitting in a chair playing for guitar for people on the internet and getting paid for it. So it's a very, very unjust world. I'm very, very upset with everything. I wrote to Richard out the other day. I wrote, "We are both partners. Yay!" I was just thinking about like this time last year. I barely knew you.
Yeah.
We just sort of said hi, and we were both pursuing partners and chasing that dragon of 75 viewers on average. Mm-hmm. Holy moly, what a year! We've both been on front page this year. You released 3 singles, and a whole vinyl.
3.
You've completed
3 singles in the vinyl.
Yeah. That's
a lot.
That is quite a lot for a year working from home by yourself and also working on other projects for other people.
I also had 4 jobs.
And Cozy
this year.
Collabs.
Oh yeah, the Cozy Collabs.
4 jobs, yeah.
R.I.P.
You started a new podcast. You've done. Oh my goodness!
I'm really sad when I think about the Cozy Collab. Really sad about it.
Is it also the stretch of getting it up and running that isn't worth the dopamine?
Yeah.
Or is it just not like the matter of...
It kind of stopped bringing me joy. If that makes sense.
I'm so sorry.
No. There was like... It really was something I loved for like quite a while, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. It's that while I was super busy and in the beginning stages of the burnout, okay, but low-key, I think I've been burnt out for a really, really, really long time. Like, I think I've been burnt out since like this time last year, and it's just been like slow. Like, I think it's just been like slow, and then it really peaked in
like fireworks.
Yeah,
where you lit the fuse, and then you go, "Oh, here's the payoff."
Yeah, I think I've just been like dealing with low levels of it, and then it got really bad in April, May time, and then it got better, kind of, and then it got bad again in August and September, and now I'm finally starting to feel better, and I would like to actually properly recover. I don't want to go back up into it.
Good.
But when the burnout was getting worse, the Cozy Collab started to be more stressful than rewarding, because I was already exhausted with like working and stuff like that. And then we also had a couple of people, literally 2, drop out last minute for episodes. And it worked out okay because 3 guests was better than 4 anyways. But it wasn't a good feeling. So it was something that was like already was stressful. And like, it wasn't on these people. Like it was external circumstances that led them to not being able to be on the show. But it was still like, you know, you work really hard to put something together, and then it's already kind of stressful. And it was nice to talk to people, and it was really exciting. I don't know. It was like there was so many good things about it, and then there was so much stress and tech and all of that stuff. And when I had a brain to deal with it, that was okay. But as my brain got less and less functional, we did our last one in August, I think. Yeah, we did our last one in August. We took 2 months off, and then we came back in August. And then I was going to do it again in September. I had guests lined up and everything, and I was like, I can't do it. So it's just been on hiatus. I wanted to do a 1-year anniversary thing, but then because we missed so many months, I didn't end up doing that. And So it's all kind of fizzled, and it makes me sad, but it is what it is.
I'm sure the day you decide to reignite, I'm sure people will be back and just go, yep.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be, and I would like to bring it back at some point, but it's like I'm not even streaming regularly on Sundays anymore. Like Sundays used to just be a stream day for me, and then I turned off streaming on Sundays because my brain was broken, and now this week I've put it on my schedule that I'm streaming on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so it would be.
Is it a maybe nice. Or a definite?
I'm gonna say it's a definite, so that I actually do it. I would like to get back to doing 4 days a week.
4? Yeah.
Because right now I'm only doing 3, but I think 4 is like the sweet spot, and I would like to be streaming 4 days a week, but I don't know what that looks like.
Only 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Alanna, Matty.
Theodor, Elfving.
Only you're streaming 3. You're putting content out there live 3 times a week.
Yeah. How many times do you stream a week, sir?
Well, I stream, but that's all I do.
Well, it's becoming...
And then I sit around and play drawing vector.
Yeah, that's true. It is becoming most of what I do, to be fair. But it's not
but it's
everything
such a
I do.
comparison-based thing to do as well, and go, I'm only doing 4 days a week, or 3 days. I mean, there are people who do once a week, or 2 times a week.
Yeah, that's true. And like that...
It all comes down to what you can muster and what you appreciate.
Yeah.
Also, a very nice insight that I had. It's better that I take some time off and be a good performer when I'm live than just doing, I'll stream 6 days a week. I will sit here and cry.
Yeah.
It's better since we work as entertainers. Being on top of it is important instead of going, I'll just do the motions.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've given that advice, and that's kind of the advice that I'm taking myself as well, right? Is that like I'm trying to do what's best for me so that I can put on the best show every time, you know?
Because it is a show.
It is. Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize that it is a show, because when I'm used to like doing live shows, it's different. But now going like, okay, it's more of a show. That is like my resolution for next year, or we were talking about this last time, but like my hope for next year is to do more low-key themed streams, or having more of a game plan and like structuring them up in a better way.
Yeah.
Because I've been just sort of like willy-nilly doing streams and just, I'll talk now, blup. But having more of a, like we talked about rituals and stuff, and having like, this is how the stream works, we'll do this, and then we'll do that.
I think that's a really good goal to have.
Yeah.
I was thinking something I want to do. I forgot about it until right now, actually. Is that something I never do is preload my song list. I never have a set list.
Yeah. Oh.
And I don't want to have a set list. I want to take requests. But what I don't like is hitting those moments where I'm like, what?
I just realized that we can put our own song, we can do requests and have that filled out beforehand.
Yeah.
Going today the queue is me for the first 6 songs, the songs I want to play. Here's the song list. You can leave if you want and come back when these are done.
So I was thinking of doing something similar. I'm sorry, Theo's mind is blown. His hands have not left his face.
How did I not realize that I can if I think, I want to play these 4 songs today, I can just put them in beforehand and go, okay, these songs are going to be played, and then you can request whatever you want.
And so what I'm thinking is that I put those songs in, but then as people come in and request, I bump the people's requests up above the songs that I want to play. But I think I want to just say, like, here are 5 songs that I would like maybe they're songs that don't get requested, or they're just songs that I want to play today. So that the queue is never really empty, because like the queue is rarely empty anyway. But it's like, if I can, like, for me, the moments where I struggle the most in stream is when the queue does empty, because I know a lot of people just want to hang out. They don't want to make choices. They don't want to make decisions. And so it's like, if I can have like 5 songs that are just like in a saved queue, or they're on the queue, but they get pushed down as soon as someone else requests something, then I'm avoiding the situation where, you know, we have 130 people watching us, but no one is requesting anything because everyone's just having a good time hanging out. Yeah. I can avoid that situation. And
visibility and transparency is so important as well. What?
I don't know. I saw that
Looked
too.
like I had a comb over it.
Yeah,
Like
it's stuck.
What
I
happened?
don't know.
Sorry.
Sorry, Theo. I like that you also noticed it. I saw it happen and I was like, huh.
Why does he look? Oh, that's a look. It looked like I had spray on hair.
Yeah. There was like three perfect strands of hair just like stuck perfectly across his forehead, like a really bad toupee. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it is a really good toupee,
is, yeah.
this one. It's been growing since I was a kid. No, but
Homemade.
Speaking of transparency and being clear, when I worked as a teacher, if I during class, I don't know what's up with my wrote on the whiteboard. So like at 11 p.m. we're starting the class. 11:10 we're gonna be doing maths. And we're going to talk about the introduction to whatever you're doing, and then have it all structured on the whiteboard. And when people went, "What are we doing today?" Just point towards them, going, "Yep." And if you feel lost, you can just look there. And having the songs be that as well. Like I had these 5 songs, or however many songs, going, these are going to get played. I like these songs. Mm-hmm. Instead of, I have something planned for you. Then you wheel in the TV.
Popping a VHS.
Yeah.
Can you see the slippers?
I saw the slippers. Ghost just came into the room with the most glorious slippers I have ever. Are those?
They were a Christmas gift from my brother last year. They plug in, so they get warm.
What?
Yeah, take a couple steps back.
That is magnificent.
Thank you.
Wow. I would also like to get to the protocol that Ghost doesn't show his face whenever he comes in and gives Alanna coffee. No. It cuts out his head at like neck level, so it's just a torso coming in giving, and also feet giving Alanna coffee.
Yep. And this time it was a torso and corgi slippers.
Yeah, I'm guessing you have posted pictures of that on Discord.
No.
Or Instagram.
No, I don't think I have.
What? Are you for real?
Yeah.
You're joking.
No, it's now you know the secret.
You have to post pictures of the corgi slippers somewhere.
I'll post them
somewhere.
I will post a picture of the corgi slippers in the podcast
on your
channel
Patreon.
On Patreon. No, I have to do stuff for Patreon.
Paywall that bitch. Sorry.
That was so aggressive.
Yeah, that's me, bad boy Theo, aggressive as always.
I thought you were gonna say aggressive as fuck, which would have been aggressive, but
I don't use the F-bomb, but too bad of a boy.
Too bad of a boy.
I used to curse so much before Twitch, or that was like I curse off of stream, like, but there's some choice expressions that I really had to stop myself saying. You know, you have saying it with friends, and you go, "Wow."
Yeah.
We say these things to each other because we don't mean no harm. We know that we're both joking. And then you see these people, and perhaps they're in your chat, and you go,
yeah.
But then you stop yourself.
You're like, oh, that's a lot.
Because you get banned.
Yes.
I don't know if I say this and you can edit it out, how terrible this is.
Okay, hold on. Let me make a marker.
Make a marker here.
Okay, marker.
You shut your... It's a classic saying between me and my friends.
Yeah.
But if you were to say that to someone who does not know,
I'm gonna bleep that out. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add swear bleeps.
Because it's a good saying and it gets the point across, but it might be a little
just a little
spicy
spice. Yeah. I swear a lot. I remember like the first couple of times that I swore on stream, people were like, and I was like, oh, you have no idea. I'm so bad. I swear I because it's just part of my vocabulary, I don't think about it. And if I get really into telling a story, I have no sense of like the children that are around me, and Ghost gets so upset because I'm not thinking, I'm just telling a story. It's just how I talk, and I'm just like dropping F-bombs all over the place, and there's like a 4-year-old child in front of me just like...
Has Ghost started bringing his air horn with him whenever you go?
Luckily hasn't gotten that bad yet. Oh, I'm beating myself up right now, Theo. I had a story I was going to tell you before we started the podcast. There was going to be a story, and now I don't remember what the story was. Do you remember what the segue was? What were we talking about before we started streaming?
Before we started streaming?
Streaming? Podcasting?
Before we started recording? What was we talking? What were we talking about the day? How we were feeling? Tour? Legs? Writing messages on Instagram to people?
Oh, I remember. Yes. Okay.
Did I do it?
You did
Bring
it.
back?
You did it. Yes. Okay. So I have a very embarrassing story. This is not a good segue. I just needed, it was bothering my brain so much that I couldn't remember what this story was. Okay. So before we had Clive.
Yes.
I used to walk dogs and dog sit for people who lived in my building.
Yes.
And
the one with the, sorry.
Yeah. And so there was like a couple of regulars, but then there was one dog and her name was Sally. And she's a basset hound.
Yeah.
And I love basset hounds. Like they're just so silly. Like they're long, but they've got the huge paws, like huge paws. And then the huge ears.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And she was just such a sweetheart. And so we would look after her. I wouldn't like walk her, but I would look after her for a couple of days while her owners were like out of town. Yeah. And around this time of year, the owner texted me and asked if I wanted to take Sally over Christmas because they were going to maybe fly to the East Coast and they couldn't take her with them. And so obviously I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. But iPhone used to have a thing where you could send voice messages, but you weren't able to say, yes, I would like to send this voice message, or no, you are not going to send this voice message. If you happen to hit the record button, it would just automatically send. So I happened to have So I happened to have the phone open to the text message that I gotten from him. And I was talking to Ghost and I was so excited about it. I was like making these up voices. I was like, I literally remember saying like, oh my God, I want to look after Sally so bad. Oh, like just like making like really dumb voices, like cutesy voices or whatever. And it sent to him automatically. There was like nothing there was nothing I could do about it. And the worst part was you could see when they listened to it, but then also if they saved it, and he saved it to his phone. And I replied to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. I'm I'm like a professional, and then I'm making this like stupid voice message.
But that is super duper sweet, Alanna. That isn't embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing.
Did you get to watch Sally over Christmas?
No. They ended up not going away.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't because of the message. It was just...
Okay. No, you were too invested in Sally. No.
But it was...
That is super sweet, Alanna.
Oh my God.
That is not embarrassing
it was so embarrassing. And I don't get embarrassed very easily. Because usually I can stand by what I did. But I think it was because like I didn't know, like for things that are like that I'm taking seriously, like professional things where it's like I'm looking after your dog or I'm teaching your kids or whatever. Like I have a very like calm and professional persona, and to just like make these stupid noises. This person who I'm really not even friends with, like was just it was mortifying.
I mean, imagine yourself if you were to have someone look after Clive, and you asked them, would you be able to take care of Clive over Christmas, and you got that response? You'd be super happy.
That's true. It's not so bad, but I think it would be weird from like certain people, but I think I'd probably just like laugh and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Knowing that they were probably mortified.
It is adorable. Yeah, knowing that the person was completely mortified still, but yeah.
Do you get
it's like calling your teacher mom.
Oh yeah. Do you get embarrassed easily? Or have you ever really been like embarrassed? Have we talked about embarrassing stories before? I feel like we haven't really.
I don't know if we've done. I don't know if what embarrasses me. I'll have to ask Phil. I don't even know what embarrasses me. I have a friend who has like zero boundaries at all. Mm-hmm. I can get embarrassed by, yes, when my childhood friends tell stories about me today, about how I was when I was 16 or 17, that can get embarrassing because I feel it doesn't really have any relevance of how drunk I was when I was 17.
Right. Yeah.
Or I don't really care if we're out drinking and we're meeting new people. It's fine. It's like war stories. But like if we're meeting like a new coworker and my friend goes, "You should have seen Theo when he was 17." Going, no, you should not. No, I should have seen Theo.
That's kind of rude to me. Like I feel like I can, like especially like 17 for both of us was like a very long time ago, like at minimum a decade and a half ago, right? Like it's
half my age now.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like
I've doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like to have someone call you out. It's different if it's like, oh, Theo used to be super racist back in the day, and it's like, okay, that's different. But it's like, young Theo did this embarrassing
young
thing.
Depressed Theo drank too much.
Yeah,
to
when
deal
he
with
was
his
17.
sadness.
Like that's like not a fair story to bring up at this point.
I just drink more expensive liquor now. That's the only difference.
But it's just like I wouldn't want someone to bring up stories from, especially not stories that like they know make me look bad. Like if you want to tell someone a story about like, I don't know, something I did when I was 10, but it was like pretty okay, like it was kind of a cool thing that I did when I was 10, then like, yeah, that's fine. Like cute little Alanna did something cute when she was 10 years old. Whereas like if you're gonna tell a story from like, I don't know, when I was like 16 and got drunk for the first time, like, and embarrassed myself, and things got weird because it was the first time I'd been like really drunk or whatever, like that story has no relevance to today. The story is not interesting. That story is not, I don't know. It just feels like kind of an asshole thing to do to bring that up.
I met a dude in Gothenburg who is fantastic. Who I love the guy. Mm-hmm. But this was when we just started hanging out, and we were going with a friend to his new girlfriend's house. His girlfriend was having game night with her girlfriends, and we were going over there after work to say hello and drink some beers. Mm-hmm. And the dude says on the bus there, "You know, I'm not that good with a crowd. I hate speaking in front of people." And he's a salesman. Okay. Like he works in sales. Yeah. But he doesn't like to speak in front of people. Okay. And he hates his, and then, so he comes in, he has 2 drinks, and he starts telling a story about that he has another man's name tattooed on his butt. Because his coworker was an avid smoker, or avid, but he was smoking a lot, like 3 packs a day smoker. And he said, if you stop smoking for a year, I'll tattoo your name on my butt. This is the short of the story. So he did. He went out drunk 1 year later with the same dude and woke up with his name on his butt. He then proceeded to pull down his pants and show the said tattoo. Wow. But the way he told this story, I don't think I've laughed that way in a long way. I was crying, like I was wheezing, and his whole like spiel before that, I'm not good with people. He was working as like a perfect performer. It was incredible. Wow. That dude then said, "Oh, that was so embarrassing." No, that was fantastic. But I don't have. I've done so many weird things while I was drunk. I don't really know what embarrasses me anymore. I mean, someone's embarrassing can be someone's adorable or someone's, oh my God, that's terrible. So there's a fine.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely things that I've done or said that people would be like, whoa, that's really embarrassing. But that, like, it wasn't embarrassing to me. Like,
and at the moment, it might sound worse in retrospect when you talk about it and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but in the moment, it was like, it was fine.
When we were in tour in Germany, we were in Berlin. Pub in Sweden closed at 1. That's the latest you can get beer at a pub in Sweden. And in Berlin, we played until 2, went out for a drink, and then we went to a bar. And I asked the waitress, when do you close? And she went, no, 24 hours. I went, pardon? Oh. And we brought our instruments, and there was some dude there who asked if we could play a song. So we played him some songs, and he bought us beers for hours.
That's amazing.
And then we went back to the hotel. our friend was in there sleeping, and he had the keys. And we can get a hold of him. So we collectively slept on the sidewalk. At the moment, it seemed like the best and brightest idea. At 6 a.m, going, well, there's a sidewalk. And we tried calling him, and he didn't pick up.
Yeah.
And then we all fell asleep, all 4 of us.
Oh my God.
And then the dude walked out 5 minutes after this going, what are you? This is why we can't go anywhere. This is what happens. You go out drinking and you sleep on the sidewalk. This has never happened before. This is one of those old stories.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't sorry, got momentarily distracted. I'm back. My brain is back.
Oh, your brain is back? It's bounced back.
Bounce back. Immediate bounce back.
I also realized something I wanted to say before. When we were talking about me asking Phil for advice with drawing. Mm-hmm. It's really nice because I can ask, like, what's wrong with this? What is the perspective askew? And he goes, yeah, you need to fix this. I need to have that with music. I wish I had a writing partner or something. I'm just throwing this out there in the universe now to manifest. Mm-hmm. And I need to sit down with someone and go, like, does this work? Is this a bad song idea?
You could just ask me, you know.
I know.
Just throw it under the universe and I just, like, catch it.
So, yeah. Well, there we go. Yep, done.
That was easy.
Yeah? Cool. I'll I don't know, I'm blushing. Yeah.
It's cute.
But, yeah. I think I need to. When I was talking to Phil about that, we've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. And I've said it here for the first time. That I need a product manager or like a manager.
Yep.
Someone to go, Theo, you need to do this thing. So now I realize that the first thing I need to do is write songs. Mm-hmm. I need to have original content. So that's step one. I became my own product manager.
Yes. It's
C30 said that I should probably think of myself whenever I'm struggling with doing things for Theo. I should think about doing things for Theodor.
Oh.
The distinguished man with the top hat and the monocle.
Yeah.
Because I have no problem helping friends with doing things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But when it comes to doing things for myself, no, I would never. And then if I were to do it for Theodor, it's fine.
It's I'm treading a very fine line with this tour planning stuff right now because it is both exciting and terrifying at the same time. So it's
excitifying.
Yeah, it's very much excitifying. Yeah. I'm finally like looking at maps and like, you know, luckily having assistance where it's like, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. And now I have someone with a calculator and a spreadsheet who's like, okay, well, that's going to cost you this much money and this much money and this, that, and that. So it's like, I'm a massive dreamer and I'm always like thinking big, and it's always really difficult for me when something is exciting to have it kind of like made less exciting.
Scale it down to
like to have to like scale it down. It's even stuff like, it's not like I'm not realistic because I love planning and budgeting and doing all that stuff. That stuff doesn't faze me. But it's like last week we talked about the potential for us buying our apartment, which update is not happening. But it was really difficult to have this exciting thing that I was excited about and then have to realistically be like, no, we can't do this. Like it was such a hit. I really wanted to happen. And I was asking people for advice and to have people come back and be excited and some of them not. I was like, I didn't want anyone to not be excited. I didn't want anyone to be like, no, this is a bad idea because I was so excited about it. Yeah. But I needed people to be like, no, this is a bad idea. Or like, no, these are the prices. These are the realistic, like, is it realistic that you'd be able to do this? And the answer is no. But it's like, for this tour, I'm so excited about it that then to be like, oh, well, you can't actually do this the way that you want to do this it's really difficult. It's necessary, but it's really hard.
Will you be driving or will you be taking trains? And
I'm going to be driving primarily because there are train networks throughout the States. In Canada, it's really expensive to take the train. And I have too much gear because I'm bringing a keyboard and a guitar.
People love you on the train a lot. Take the train. Bring along your whole PA.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'll love it so much.
People just go...
I'll have to book. I'll have to book a second seat every time for all of my gear. It would be nice to not have to do all of the driving, and some of it I will be able to split with people, but
will Ghost be going with you?
For certain segments, but I don't think for all of it because he has a job.
He just got his driver's license,
yeah,
right?
he did.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's very exciting. He's very sheepish about it, but I am extremely excited about it.
I'm coming over to open for you one night, just so you know.
Oh, great. That's exciting.
Yeah. That would be... we talked about that on stream, thing on Friday. Like, I think Theodor brought up, like, your tour, and I went, if I could open for Alanna, if I could be in America... Oh, my God, my brain would just go, nope. That is such a pipe dream that my hair did the same thing again.
It's doing the come over thing.
Can you take a picture of this? Can you screen cap this?
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Perfect. The maniacal look really makes it.
It sells the whole to pay thing. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh wow. Oh no. Yeah. So that's a pipe dream. But it isn't that far off it's in the cards. I could realistically book a flight to the US of A if COVID doesn't really. It's just a matter of.
I mean, I think we should talk about this.
And you allowing me to open for you, of course, but.
Well, I think if we wanted to talk about this in like an actually serious way, I don't think you should go to the States.
No.
I think you should come here. Come to Toronto.
That would be cool as well. Oh my God.
Because then it's cheaper than going to the States because you can stay with me or you can stay nearby and I can show you Toronto and we can play some shows here and
that would be amazing.
It would be pretty cool. Probably easier than trying to join in at a leg on the trip.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah.
But I mean, it's also so weird that this is a thing. And I get to talk to you about it. It's so cool.
It is.
You're playing a
it is really wild.
I got to see. I'm looking to the camera. You can't see me, you listeners, but I'm looking and I'm talking to you now. I got to see a map.
He did,
and how it was planned out. The first leg.
It's a lot.
I'm jelly.
It's a lot, is what it is.
Big jelly.
I'm very excited about it.
And then you're coming to Sweden, and we'll have a tour here as well.
Yes.
I'll do the European tour.
Yeah, well, you should just come on the European tour with me. I was thinking about that today. I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot since planning all of this because the visa for the States is so complicated, whereas like going to other countries in the Commonwealth is so much easier for me as a Canadian. It would be easier for me to go to like the UK, and then even from the UK to go and tour the EU wouldn't be as difficult as it is to go down to the States.
I don't think there's any difficult at all going to the EU.
No,
visa.
You.
I don't think there's any issues at all for like a Canadian to come to.
No. So it would be. So there's definitely parts of me that it's like I thought the more reasonable thing was to raise money for a North American tour, but really it might have been more reasonable for me to raise money for a European tour. So I don't know.
So listeners, you know what to do now. you find venues where you live, and you go, oh, you can come to this town or this country and play, and we'll come there and play.
Yeah.
Me and Alanna.
Yeah.
We'll. Where does Veld live? Belgium.
Netherlands.
Yeah. So that's one, and then we also have Bucky there.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Bucky Bunker. Do you know I started calling him Bucky Boo Boo by mistake?
No.
And it stuck. I was trying to do the Tom Haverford from Parks and Rec. It's impossible to say Bucky Bunker. Yeah. And then I added a boo, and then Phil said Bucky Boo Boo, and then now he's
but that
Bucky
sounds
Boo Boo.
so much more like Tom Haverford. Bucky Boo Boo.
Boo Boo. Yeah, he is. Oh. That is my favorite. His cologne for toddlers. Baby, you smell good. It's tiki tiki tom tom.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All of his names for the different like meals. I can't do them off the top of my head, but it makes me so happy.
He is fantastic.
Yeah.
Aziz Ansari. Wow.
Yeah.
What a dude. Have you seen Mash of None?
Yes, but not the most recent season. We watched the first episode of the most recent season, and it was a lot, and so we haven't continued from there.
Okay, yeah. I've only watched the first two seasons as well.
The third season is like it just starts on a really intense note. Is it beautifully shot and like very well done? Yes. Is it a little heavy? Also, yes.
Is it a roller coaster of emotion?
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Worth it though.
I did not know. Speaking of Master of None, Eric, the tall guy in season 2 who goes around Italy with. Have you seen Tim and Eric's super awesome show?
No, I know of it though.
My brother showed me snippets of this as we were drinking whiskey, and my brain has not been the same since. I tell you that much. It's when they released their self-help book. And they're in an interview and they're trying to stick to their bits of not laughing or like being serious, like healers.
Yeah.
And Tim Heidegger did a whole stand-up routine where he bombed intentionally. He's been practicing this for years, making the worst stand-up possible, like observing people who crash and burn at stand-ups and then mimicking what they're doing to make sure that everyone is
as uncomfortable as
I
possible.
have goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah, it's he does like all the classic stand-up shticks, and it's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that was a tangent on stand-up.
That's okay. I really like stand-up.
All because of Bucky Boo Boo in Belgium.
Yes. So who else? I mean, there's so many people in the UK that I really want to go see, and that's the thing is
we have Wayne as well who listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
Hello, Wayne.
Hello. I think that like
his friend has a brewery that we need to play. I guess.
Interesting. It's been.
And we can meet. Yeah, it's been. It's been a long time since we did that.
That's true.
Okay.
I was just saying that like it's looking at all of the people that I know in the States or that I'm like close enough with that I feel like I could reach out to versus the amount of people that are in Europe that I feel like I'm close enough to and reach out to. There is a difference. Like I have so many people in Canada. But then I really only have like a handful of people in the States that I feel comfortable enough like reaching out to. Whereas like in Europe, I was like, so many.
Yeah. We had to go to Stockholm and play for Iva. Oh.
I just want to go to Stockholm in general. So that works out for me.
I really want to go up there and have a beer with Iva. Fantastic dude. And then we bring Richard up there as well. It'll be good. And then I have people in Denmark. Ooh. So we'll do a little Stockholm, Malmo, Stockholm, Gothenburg. That's west coast so from east coast to west coast and down to where I live, Denmark. And then we'll do Belgium, Spain, Germany, France. Then little boat ride up to England.
You skipped the Netherlands. Why not go from Belgium to the Netherlands?
I mean, the whole Netherlands, those are for me the same region.
Oh.
I don't know why. Netherlands are like
Belgium and the Netherlands are two separate countries, though.
I know this. It's important for you that I know. But my brain has that nestled. It's called something in Swedish. I can't remember now. That's why I always group like all those things together.
Well, they're all kind of the Germanic countries, right? Where they all speak Germanic-esque languages. Of Germany and Netherlands,
Dutch,
and Flemish.
Don't you have Dutch heritage?
I am Dutch and German. Why?
Yes,
it's a Germanic language.
I mean, they speak
It's not. They don't speak German, but it's a Germanic language. Yeah.
I mean, Swedish is also a Germanic language. But yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what you're trying to imply.
Of course.
You just thought that that Belgium and the Netherlands were the same country.
I'm just surprised. I'm just always in their language is incredible, and you saying that they sound the German. I never made the connection in my head, but of course they have a German language roots.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That for me as a kid, I was listening to Gummy Bears. The Dutch version, as a Swede, you think, are they singing in Swedish but made up words? This sounds exactly like Swedish, but
so Dutch is such an odd language. Like I like it a lot, but it is very much like there are a number of languages that if you read Dutch out loud, it kind of sounds like you're just a really drunk English person. Like you can kind of like listen to the like different words, like obviously the tenses and grammar and stuff. Yeah. But like when I were in Amsterdam last, like I can understand quite a bit of Dutch and like I can read Dutch quite well. I just get nervous speaking it. But like he would just read words out loud. Like he would look at them and then he would read them, and when he said them out loud, he could probably figure out what they were based on like on like how they sounded versus like reading it is harder. I don't know. It's a funny language. I like it a lot. It's very nostalgic for me as well, obviously, because my family speaks Dutch, and so I don't get to hear it very much anymore now that both of my Oma and Opa both passed away. So it doesn't happen very often, but it's nice when I do get to hear it.
So big sad.
Big sad. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I was one of my old bands and band members' boss was Dutch. Mm-hmm. And he hired me for when he was going to, did I play a garden party? They had twins.
Okay.
And I played for the party, like the reception of their house. And then he realized that he wanted to propose to his now wife. And he asked if I knew any good songs to propose to. And I played my own song, Leap of Faith, as he got down on one knee and proposed to his. That was a tearjerker. Oh my God. I haven't thought about it in a while. Oh my God. My shit got warm.
Getting all butterfly.
It was good.
That's really sweet. That's really nice.
And that's when I hear Dutch, I think about him.
That's nice.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. I find that I can pick out a Dutch accent really easily because of like my family, and it's like even if people
an English Dutch,
if people are speaking English but they're from Holland, like I can pick up the.
It's a very distinctive way of talking. Yeah,
and it is very different than like it. Talking about it being like a Germanic language. But you hear someone speak with a German accent or speak German, it's very different. They're very different languages, but like, it's
and it's mostly like the melody in Dutch that is very similar to Swedish.
Yeah, it is.
And we have sort of the same, the Swedish accent of when speaking English is awful. I hate when I hear our Prime Minister on television talking like this. It grinds my gears because...
I just realized now that I have had the exact same reaction, but opposite when listening to someone speak Swedish. Is like, so you're saying when you listen to someone speak Dutch and it sounds like Swedish, but with gibberish words. Yes. I feel that way about Swedish because as soon as you said the melody is the same, I'm like, yes, because we studied movies. We watched a couple of movies in school. I think one was Danish and one was Swedish. And in both cases, it's like you're listening to them speak and you're like, this sounds like I should know what you're saying, but I don't.
It's like a drunk Muppet going. Yeah. It's even more than the Swedish.
Yeah, it's very odd. What? It's very like it's very strange. It's like there's so many different types of French. And so like we learn France French in school, but then France French is not the same as Montreal French. And then Montreal French is not the same as Acadian French, which is the like East Coast French in Canada. And when I was in the East Coast like years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I speak French, like this will be fine. And they start speaking French to you, and I'm just looking at this lady and I'm like, you're speaking French. I also speak French. And I have no idea what you're saying right now. Like it's very strange.
Is the same thing with like German as well? I was since my dad's from Vienna, I've spent a lot of time there. When I was 18, I went back.
Speak German?
Yeah.
Or at least a little bit?
In Vienna?
Do you speak German?
I was fluent in German.
That's what I thought.
Up until I was 5. I now understand German. When it's spoken, I can really reply. Mm-hmm. But I had a hard time understanding papas.
Uh-huh.
I've never called him papa in my entire life. Papa is a French. No, my dad's friends, they all spoke like Viennese and Viennese slang. And it's super, super fast. And there's a lot of sounds. Where I'm come from, it's also a lot of, as I said in the stream, I'm sorry about all my thick R's. We use, it's a really weird accent.
Yeah, it's the G's, is the like, is like, in like Dutch. It's off, it's common.
Vad gör du? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so weird. Here.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
accents
languages.
I love language and melodies, and I think it's a musician thing as well. Like hearing someone talk and trying to mimic how they sound.
I used to be so bad with that, with mimicking people. Like when I worked in
I worked in
cafes, all the time, and it was so difficult not to do that. There was one time this guy came in, and he was like this big guy, like construction worker, whatever, like huge, like 6 foot, whatever, like built.
Yeah.
He looked a little rough around the edges, and I was kind of like, okay, like in my head, like totally stereotyping, which I felt terrible for immediately because he gets to the counter, this massive giant dude, and he just goes, could I get a small cup of Earl Grey, please? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it took everything.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, it just took everything in me not to, first of all, copy his accent, and second of all, to like stop my jaw from hitting the floor. Like I had you couldn't have paid me any amount of money to tell me that was the voice that was going to come out of this giant man. It was very, very funny.
We were at the pub the other night. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Eddie Izzard before.
Yeah.
And she has a bit about that no one knows what Latin sounded like.
Yeah.
Like, hello, we're the Romans. There was a dude at the pub who had that exact voice. And Phil just turned to me and said, hello, we're the Romans. And I could not keep myself from laughing whenever that dude spoke. I just had to go.
Yeah. Did I tell you when I first met Ghost's parents?
No.
So I knew that they were of British origin.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that they were like British the first time that I met them. This was still in a period of time where like I've gotten much better at not copying people's accents, but this was kind of before I'd gotten much better at not copying people's accents. And we get in the car. We went to visit them in Montreal. And we get in the car and they both say hello to me. And I'm like, oh, I am in trouble. And even still, if I'm drinking with them, which is often because they drink a lot-ish, the more I drink, the more my accent slips. Like, the more I slip into copying, like, vowel sounds and stuff. And, like, I'm never doing it on purpose. And I'm not making fun of them or anything. It's just, like, listening to it and talking. Like, I have to really consciously keep my own accent instead of just, like, reverting into... And they have... I mean, like, Eddie's mom has, like, just such, like, a lovely, like... If you could picture, like, the most prim, proper, like, British accent, that's what she has. His dad's a little bit rougher, but it's like it's apparitions
in law, as it were.
What?
Apparitions in law instead of parents in law. That bombed. Mm-hmm. I was trying. Sorry. So I imagine you as My Fair Lady.
Gotcha.
The rain in That's you, white Henry Higgins.
Just you.
But I
white.
think it comes down to to being human.
Yeah.
Or like the flock thing of mimicking accents is a way of trying to fit in, I think.
Yeah, it's
So it's a very natural response. It's not trying to flatter someone. It's just like you falling into the way they speak.
Yeah.
But it can get weird, and especially when they ask you where you're from, and you go,
Have I never told you the story about the wedding?
So around here. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the wedding that I went to? So quite a few years ago, we went to a wedding in the UK, and we were sitting at a table, and we'd already been in the UK for like a few days at this point. We're sitting at a table with Ghost's cousins, and like I've given up at this point, and so now I just have this very odd middling accent where it's like it's not really Canadian, but it's certainly not British. Like I'm still kind of trying, but like I've given up and I'm exhausted, and like we've just been surrounded by like British people for days. And the cousin, like one of the cousins turns to me and she's like, "Do you have less of an accent because you're from the city?" And it took me a minute to realize that, like, she was saying that I had less of a Canadian accent because I was from, like, a city, which, like, no, I'm just an asshole and I can't keep my mouth moving in a way that isn't copying everyone around me. But I just thought it was funny that she was like, she thought I had less of an accent. Meanwhile, like, Ghost is sitting beside me being like,
Fel had to de-accent me every time I came home from Gothenburg. It's 3 hours away. Just how we speak here where I live, it's man går ner till kiosken och så köper man en korv som går man hem va. Och in Gothenburg, man går ner till kiosken va? Och så köper man en korv och så kommer man hem och så är man glad. There's a little difference
twang
in accents.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And coming home from Gothenburg, having that, jo, det var det gött att komma hem. And Fel going, no, this is not how we speak in this house.
Please stop. Please fix.
Fel is very, 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 not patriotic, regionotic, areotic. Areotic sounds very, really
That sounds
weird.
like a medical term.
She has become erotic. I'm sorry.
Oh, dear.
Oh, that became some sort of vague German. She has become. I just need a cigarette so I can do the whole. Dr. Jones. We will have to try some other methods. Sorry.
It is.
That's every German villain.
It's
Smoking
true.
between middle finger and ring finger. Not the old
No.
peace smoking, but having the
Middle.
middle finger.
It is odd, I find, that, and this has always been the way for me. I can't do a Dutch accent. I've heard that is the accent that I've heard the most in my life, and I cannot replicate it. I can't.
Yeah. I can't even.
I could do like English and Irish and Scottish and like French, but I cannot mimic like a Dutch person speaking English, or German for that matter. My grandfather's German. I can't do his accent either. I don't know.
It is.
I don't know. It's weird.
Fel's dad is German. So my dad's from Austria and Fel's dad's from Germany. And he has my dad has no accent at all. We can hear it in some words, like he has a little bit of a German. But Fel's dad speaks like Swedish with a German melody. It's fantastic.
Wow.
And I mimicked him the other day when we were out for a restaurant, and Fel went, that is not, you can't do that voice. Oh, no, okay. I love, I used to do a lot more accents before I started streaming, because now you meet people who are from the places where you try to mimic.
That's correct.
And then you go, you're not speaking Irish. And you go, no, I know.
And this is when I was first thinking about like what party tricks I have up my sleeve for like channel points or for redemptions or whatever. I definitely had moments of thinking about accents because like I've done them. Like when I was working at Ubisoft, Watch Dogs Legion takes place in London, and I did so many voices for that game, like so many temp voices for a whole bunch of different things. And like, it was like, I know that I can do them, but now that I'm like watching people, like I don't want people to be offended by accident, because like I never mean it to be offensive. It just
that's also like
I don't know what would be considered offensive.
What's it called? Cultural appropriation?
Yeah,
where you
exactly.
go, am I allowed to do this?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to do it poorly, especially because like there's one thing, like I know there's people who do accents on stream, but they do them badly, and the point is that they're doing them badly, whereas like the point would not be that I am doing it badly. The point would be that I think I'm doing a good job.
And then sitting there being confident, people go, what?
Yeah.
I heard one of my favorite interviews ever was with Ron Perlman, the guy who plays Hellboy. When I was working at a call center, I was monitoring CCTV for schools, and I was listening to podcasts. And hearing Ron Perlman on Nerdist talking about how he got a master's in theater, and they went, wow, so did you get any use from the master's diploma? And he went, yeah, it's covering up a hole I punched through the wall. So it's... And then they started talking about accents, and he went, yes, I have. And they went, wow, that's a good Transylvanian accent. He goes, no, that's my Boston accent. That's my Socket accent. Whenever I hear someone do the Transylvanian, I just go, yes, that's Boston.
Whenever I try and do Jersey, like a New Jersey accent, I just end up doing Boston instead. It just slowly goes downhill, and then I'm just like a weird suburban Boston like wife, you know? I can't, and then I can't come back.
Fel has the from, I guess that's also Jersey, from like How I Met Your Mother when they're taking the train, where someone goes, you think you're better than me? She'll sometimes slip into that one.
It just makes, it's always Sopranos for me, as I think of like his wife. When I'm thinking of that accent, is that like, but that's Jersey, but it feels Boston. I don't know. Tony.
This East Coast, at least.
Yeah.
I think, yes, it is. Good, Theo. Good geographer.
Yeah, good job. I also know what cities are along the East Coast now. I looked at a map today.
I looked at a map today.
I've driven the East Coast so many times, but I've never I've always thought about where I'm going and not so much like what the route looks like on the way to where I'm going. Whereas now I'm very much thinking about what the route looks like.
That's a song.
Is it?
Could be. I mean, I never thought about the route. I was just thought about where I was going.
I do kind of like that. It is that was very deep unintentionally, but it's also very true. I'm very focused on the end goal, and that I often miss the stuff in between.
Yes.
So, yeah. Interesting.
When can the general public be allowed to see the legs?
Well, if you watched my stream on Friday, there were some legs.
Yeah. Was it called a romper?
Yeah.
That piece of clothing.
Yeah. It's like a dress, but with legs.
You Americans.
Hey, Canadian. Thank you.
You are. You live in America, don't you?
I do not live in America. I live in Canada.
Isn't Canada part of North America?
Yes, but we don't call it America. Canada is not America.
Oh my God. Wow. No. Okay, so I'm not European, I'm Swedish.
Sure, but Europe has Europe has agreements, and you can like drive through your borders.
Has agreements? Yeah.
The States and Canada is not like that.
No, not all Europe has agreements. Friend.
Right.
No. Sorry. Okay. So you're Canadian. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Anywho,
the thing is, there's three countries in North America. There's Canada, there is the United States of America,
USA.
and there is Mexico.
And Mexico.
And you definitely cannot call Mexico America, and you cannot call Canada America.
You watch me, Nene.
I think maybe it's that no one else in North America wants to be fully associated with.
That might be it as well. It has this connotation of like being European isn't that bad.
But it's also like there's no
just
place in Europe that is Europe.
Europe.
Like you're all together, you make up Europe, but you can't go to Europe. But if you go to America, that's specifically talking about the United States of America. It's a place on its own. Europe is not a place on its own.
It's just good.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just a matter of branding, Alanna. No, they were the first to take the name America and go, yes, true. United States of America.
Yes, and so America is now
we now own.
Yes, but it's like if you look at South America, there's a lot of countries in South America, and you could say that they're, I'm going to South America. That makes sense. Yes. Because there's nowhere in South America called South America.
I am going to North America, and people will look at you funny going, can you just say where, dude?
Yeah.
No.
If you say that you're going to America, you're not going to Mexico, and you're not going to Canada. You're going to the States.
You're going to Sweden. The United States of Europe.
Oh, my God. Anyway, semantics.
Is that up for grabs?
What?
United States of Europe or something else? Just going, no, this is my country now. We are Europe now. We've taken the name Europe.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get to work on that.
Yeah. I hadn't really thought about it.
Write a new song. Establish Europe.
I hadn't really thought thought about the semantics of it until right now when you said that. Because like it obviously makes sense to think that it's like,
you got
oh,
offended
we're
when I said
American.
American.
Because we're not American. That's the problem. American has a context.
You should see Alana's face as she's saying, I'm not American. The strong handshake.
Theo, the more if I say that I'm American, I just automatically lose my health care. I can't lose my health care, Theo. I can't do it. I can't. I can't give it up.
I can't give it up. We were talking about legs.
Legs. Yes. I have 2 of them. They're pretty good. No. In all seriousness,
enough to base a tour on?
Maybe around Christmas, maybe sooner. I'll be able to announce where I'm going to be. Honestly, I'll probably know in the next couple of days where I'm going to go. I won't have venues or anything like that, but I will just have like a list of the cities that I'll be stopping in. Because we have to make that all planned sooner than later. Pardon me?
Do you have a general... Sorry. Do you have a general time estimate?
Yes.
Fall?
Next...
Winter, spring, summer, fall? All you have to do is
summer.
LP.
Sorry, Theo's off on a tangent, all on his own. Next summer is going to be the start.
Next summer, yeah.
Maybe I might do something in the spring. So like a little bit of insight is I'm probably doing the tour in 3 legs. I'll be doing Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and maybe a stop in like around Prince Edward County, which is like halfway between here and Ottawa. That I'm probably going to do on my own, and that'll probably be in the spring. And then I'm going to come home. And then at some point we'll do the East Coast. That'll probably be early summer next year. So like June, July.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to go from here all the way down to Florida and then back. And then in the fall, so after September, because I have to go to a wedding in September. And so after that, we're going to do from here to the West Coast and try to end in San Diego for TwitchCon. But I'm not sold on that being a final, because we have to get to LA anyway, because I want to play shows and there's people there. So if we're there, San Diego is not far from LA. Makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Florida.
Matt Walden. You seen Florida?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people. Yeah. I have a lot of viewers from Florida, like a lot of community members, and there were people that like donated specifically to the Indiegogo who are like, I really hope you come to Florida. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll come to Florida.
But Florida isn't that big of a state, right?
Luckily, I'm going to like the middle of Florida so that people can like come from the top and come from the bottom. They are called Floridians, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Did you see that Tom Petty got an honorary doctorate in Florida?
No.
Weird thing to say in passing, Theo, but
okay.
It was a headline today. Do not read the article. Speaking about Florida, just making conversation. So, did you see that Tom Petty?
I did not, but thank you for the update. Good to know.
I had a listener give us some feedback on the pod that they realized why their small talk has been lacking. We apparently talked about this. Do you remember this conversation?
No.
About how small talk works in asking questions and waiting for replies.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently this has helped someone.
That's amazing.
Who figured out that, okay, I can just ask questions and then listen to the reply and then base my conversation on that.
That's correct. Yeah, that's the best way to do small talk.
Sort of like because some things aren't that obvious, like me realizing that I can put songs into the song list myself before the stream.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to hear someone else going on, ha. Mm-hmm.
The biggest trick to small talk is to like, and I mean, even if it's not like, even if you're talking to like friends that you know, is to like ask them questions that are meaningful. So like, if you know that they do their job, one of my favorite questions when I was having to meet like strangers, first off, is like, if I knew what their job was, I could say like, oh, what do you do for work? And then they tell me, and then I'd ask them if they liked it. Like, oh, do you enjoy it? And then that is such an big open door for them to be like, Yeah, I do because
No,
of
my
X, Y, Z.
yeah.
Or like, no, I don't really. It's like pretty stressful and da-da-da. Actually, I'm going back to school to like change my career. Like there's so many things that someone can say that can lead to like a more interesting conversation, or they can be obtuse and just be like, yeah, I like it. And then I'd say, oh, well, that's good. Like at least you're doing something that you enjoy.
I usually just lead with, did you hear that Tom Petty got an honorary doctorate in Florida? It's a very open-ended...
It's perfect. We should probably wrap up. Do you know what we talked about today, Theo? Nothing. Do you know how long we talked about nothing, Theo? 90 minutes.
But how? But how?
I have no idea what to call this podcast. I have no idea. We were so all over the map.
Thoughts.
It's a map reference.
So all over the map. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Cool.
that's what I'll call it, actually.
Yeah. All this. Yeah. But do you have your own label yet?
Label? What do you mean?
As in, do you release your own records from? Is it from Alanna Matty Records?
Oh no, it's just independent. I never call it a label name.
Do you know what you should have?
What?
As label name?
What?
Mostly Finished Thoughts. As the parent.
We can just be the parent company.
Yeah, the parent company, Mostly Finished Thoughts, and then you do podcasts, you do albums, and then you release other people's things as well. Because everything is just Mostly Finished Thoughts.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you for chatting with me today. It was lovely. I've had to pee for like 25 minutes.
Nice. Thank you for chatting with me. Despite the urge to pee, I'm glad you could fight through it so we could get to the bottom of whatever we were talking about for 25 minutes.
No idea.
Thank you so much, Alanna.
Yeah, thank you.
And this comes out on Friday.
It does.
There is nothing special happening.
Are you
this
up to anything
that
special?
I'm aware of.
Are you doing anything notable?
No. Drawing, I think.
Okay.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling in the name of hanging out with the family.
Yeah, nothing. No, nothing. Nothing to announce, which is like kind of nice.
So make sure to listen to Alanna's new single on Spotify.
Do that. Yes.
And also go in and listen to her cover of the song from Arcane.
Yeah, that video is doing quite well.
Beauty. Yes. Hop onto the train and give it even more energy.
Yes, please. Choo choo.
And we will.
Yeah,
we will see each other next week.
We will see you next week. We will. If you have here, you know what would be nice. Here's the thing that would be nice.
Here's the thing that would be nice.
I would love at the end of the year, our last podcast of the year, to do like a Q&A podcast so that people who've been listening to us this whole year pretty much, who maybe have questions or want us to talk, or like if there was something that we started talking about and then we awkwardly didn't finish talking about it, or, you know, anything along those lines, let us know, and we can answer your questions and talk about some things.
Either one of our Discords are fine, or DMs on Instagram or Twitter would be fine as well.
I'm telling you, my DMs are open.
DMs start sliding.
Yes, or you can email us at mostlyfinished at gmail.com.
Yes.
Have you checked the email address?
Daily?
Okay.
No. Have I? No. I need to talk to you about... No, you need to pee. Never mind.
All right, let's end this podcast. I'm going to pee, and then you can talk to me about whatever it is you need to talk to me about. Make Street Elephant's a horse thing. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Goodbye.